Thanks for listening to the Business Spotlight podcast presented by the Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce. I'm Logan Weaver, the marketing coordinator for the Chamber. Appreciate you tuning in. Today I have Nicole Criger, the director of operations, and Sarah Claypool, the owner and broker for Rock House Realty. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Sarah, I know you're kind of the half of the brains of the operation here, I guess, for Rock House Realty. I know, Nicole, you do a lot of the behind-the-scenes work, some of the marketing as well. So kind of tell me a little bit about your careers and what brought you to Rock House.
So Rock House was born out of the efforts of a collaboration with my business partner, RJ Edwards, and we both are very entrepreneurial in spirit. And after stepping away from a family business that I was an owner and operator of for 15 years, I needed to create something else. And so hence Rock House Realty began.
Kind of says it in the name there, Rock House Realty, so you guys specialize in the home buying process and everything, but more so specifically the Hocking Hills area. Tell me a little bit about why that is.
So the Hocking Hills is near and dear to my heart as well as RJ's because we both have spent a very long time building businesses in the region. So my family businesses, Jubach Log Homes, they continue to operate and do amazing things. And I decided to step away in 2025 to focus efforts on children and just have a little bit more levity in my day-to-day. And RJ has been a part of the Hocking Hills area for over 10 years now and has been very heavily involved in the short-term rental market, building his own rental properties and venue location for events. And so collectively, we have brought all of our efforts together from and he's been a broker for a very long time, about 20 years. He had a brokerage, and so he found out that I was getting my broker's license, and he said, let's go have lunch. And ever since then, we decided to join forces, and he closed his brokerage down, and we opened up Rock House Realty together. And we are both brokers, and RJ's our principal broker, and we have to have one person that, is going to call the shots, if you will, but it's great, and it's a great collaboration, and I feel very fortunate to be a part of this. And we were able to partner with Nicole and help us with some operations, which is so needed because we're only two people, and we have an office manager and some amazing agents that we've been able to bring on board that are very excited about our collaboration and the growth that we hope to.
And Nicole, I believe you're from
Yes.
the Westerville office too, correct?
Yes, so I'm from Westerville, but oddly enough, my mom was born in MacArthur.
Okay.
And so I like that I have roots in Westerville, but also in the Hocking Hills area. So yeah, background is property management, but my dad was actually a builder. He built houses for 50 years. So it's all coming full circle to be part of, the startup of this brokerage, which is going to be amazing. And I think what we've created and are starting to establish in the communities that we're tapped into is going to thrive. It's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So the two offices, Westerville and Logan,
Yep.
but the way that things have been growing down in Logan here recently, especially that kind of bleeds into here in Lancaster and Fairfield County as well.
Yes.
So what has been some of the trends that you guys have seen firsthand as realtors when it comes to real estate here in this region?
Well, I think what's been phenomenal, we've come out of the COVID craziness and the and the interest rates that probably we won't see again.
Thank goodness.
I know, right?
Let's hope at least.
It's the nobody's going to complain if we ever get back to less than 3%. However, it's not sustainable, unfortunately. But we've seen market values stabilize, I think, here in this region as well as in the Hocking Hills region. And what's really cool about Hocking Hills is we just are seeing more of a global recognition of the region, which is phenomenal because I think tourism is such a huge part of the economic development for the county and the region. And as we see Columbus continue to grow and thrive, and having our office in Westerville is a way that we can stay kind of really tapped into what's happening. All that trickles down this way, and we're seeing housing developments here in Lancaster, and we're seeing continued development in the tourism arena down in the Hocking Hills area, and it's just exciting, I think.
I think a lot of folks kind of see Lancaster as kind of that gateway
Sure.
into the Hocking Hills area, because we have a very active downtown district. But once you get south of Lancaster, that's when you kind of see some of those Hocking Hills features come into play.
Yep.
I know it's not part of the Hocking Hills, but you got Clear Creek Metro
Absolutely.
right there on the county line. Love Clear Creek.
Yep. I live close to there. I love
there you
it.
go.
Yes.
There you go. That is definitely part of kind of like that entry into the Hocking Hills area. Are you seeing a lot of growth in that area specifically? And if so,
absolutely.
What types of houses? Is there any specific type that's kind of been trending?
Yeah, I mean, it's still very much homes that are being built for short-term rentals. I mean, that's the development that you're seeing, and there's so much activity going on that it's hard to even keep your thumb on the pulse of who's doing what in the area. And so, I think that creating some sustainability around what that growth looks like is part of what Hocking County and the community is really trying to foster, as well as the townships around Fairfield County. My community is very much entrenched in the Lancaster community because my husband's company is Claypool Electric, and we're very involved in the community here in Lancaster, and so it's encouraging, I think, to see Lancaster also piggybacking on the tourism that's happening. And I hate to say it that way, because in their own right they have been a historic destination for years, but we actually just had the Hocking Hills Tourism Association that there's a subcommittee that is it's Hocking Hills Lodging Owners, which is not a part of the Hocking Hills Tourism Association. I'm sorry, but they're its own entity. They just did a tour. They got a bus out of Logan and came up to Lancaster and got to tour all of the spots that people can come to. So I think while tourism can be scary, it can be really beneficial for our economies, and I think it benefits Logan and as well as Lancaster, and that's the type of growth I'm seeing. In Lancaster, I see a lot more of residential housing. There's some developments popping up around the area, which is really exciting. We have amazing schools here. My kids are part of the Lancaster Public School District, and I feel very proud to be a part of this community specifically. So lots of really great things happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head where, especially residential here in Lancaster, I think for years to come, you'll see that continue to grow. Obviously, if you were at State of the City, or for folks listening, Mayor McDaniel just announced $300 million worth of housing projects, but that's not just the single family homes too. We've got apartment buildings that are being built on top of that. So
absolutely.
How do you guys try and stand out in a very crowded real estate market? Because even though it's the market, I mean, I think we can admit had its ups and downs there, especially during the COVID pandemic and everything with the high interest rates. But it is a very competitive market. So how do you guys stand out, especially when a lot of your focus is kind of in that Hocking Hills area?
Well, I think that's a loaded question and a very good question. We really try to be a leader in terms of how real estate should be addressed in our community, in terms of it is a serious transaction for people. It is the largest financial transaction that most people will make in their lifetime, and bringing an expert to the table that knows what it means to own a home, whether it's a primary home or a secondary home, is really critical. And I think what we want to foster, and we are striving to continue to foster that in our brokerage, that we partner with the right people, with the right lenders, with the right home inspectors, with the right title people. It's a collective effort to get people to the closing table. And it also, if it's not done in a ethical way, can be a big, huge hiccup in somebody's life. And, one of the things that I just was texting last night with one of my agents who had a buyer and a seller that was looking at selling a couple properties and then buying one with both of those sold together. And she's just like, I just want to make sure I'm advising her correctly. And like, those are the conversations that we continually have with each other to be a standout in terms of being professional in this industry. And we're not kitschy, and we help people across the board when it comes to real estate, whether it's buying investment properties, whether it's commercial acquisitions. One of the biggest piece of our brokerage too is property management, and whether it's short-term property management or long-term property management, we want to be able to help our clients across the board when it comes to real estate.
Talk to me a little bit about the property management and what that all entails.
So when you look at property management, there's multiple facets, right? You can do have a short-term rental property that you
like an Airbnb or
absolutely
sorts.
Airbnb, VRBO. We have a large presence in the Hocking Hills area through our sister company called Book Hocking, and I believe now we're north of 150 units under management.
Wow!
And so we employ 80 people in the community to run that operation. And it's amazing because we are not only fostering people who live outside of the community that pay taxes in the community and want to own assets in the community, but we're also supporting the people who live within the community and helping with jobs and sustainability for people to be able to live and work where they want to be. So the short-term property management is critical. The math has to make sense. It can be a property that somebody just wants to own and enjoy themselves, but they also want it to help pay for itself. And so short-term property management is a great way to do that. There are those that are strictly in it from an investment standpoint, and if the numbers don't make sense, then they're not going to do it. So we help people analyze those numbers, and we have enough data now to be able to really effectively go, this asset is gonna more than likely net you this based on what you're putting into the property in terms of a down payment, or whether you got a mortgage, whether you're buying it with cash, and this is what the expected rental income can look like, and the operation cost also, and so that's painting that whole picture is important.
And real briefly, I know you guys do a little bit on the development/commercial side as well.
Yep.
Talk me through that process and how it might differ from, say, someone buying a home and that side of the real estate.
So because I've spent so many years with my family business developing real estate, specifically in the Hocking Hills area, I have clients that come from all over. So Saturday I spent all day with a client from California, and we looked specifically at property and how to develop it to turn it into a short-term property management that can be effective. And he's living in California and wanting to invest in Hocking County. So we have really cross the boundaries outside of Ohio for investors in the area. But it's things like, is there enough road frontage? What's the topo look like? Can you put enough sites in it that does it align with what the state is allowing you to do in terms of development, and helping people line up all those resources and contractors, and is takes a little special effort to be able to tie all those people together. And I don't know if you wanted to ask in terms of the development, on the commercial development side, there is a large development down in Hocking that is happening.
I was going to mention that because that kind of ties in with the commercial side, but also you mentioned creating jobs and development in the region. Obviously, it's down in Logan, but I think the Lancaster, Fairfield County community could also benefit from it as well because of the proximity. So
absolutely.
Talk to me about, I guess, the elephant in the room in case folks haven't heard about what Rock House is planning down in Logan. Go ahead and tell us about that project that's going on.
Well, and this is an effort that's been spearheaded by my business partner, RJ, and he has had a long desire to create an environment that can benefit the community as well as tourists in the area and be a true destination for people, whether you live in the area or whether you're coming to the area to visit. And the idea is to develop a property that is multifaceted. It will have office space and ability to help those that are in the community have a space to work out of, is sort of the first line of development. And our Rock House Realty office will be in there. We'll have Book Hocking in there, and other resources affiliated with the real estate industry will be housed out of there, as well as others in the community that are needing office space, whether it's insurance providers or whether it's title companies, whether it's home inspectors. We'll have a beautiful space out of the gate. We're hoping by mid-year for that to be an opportunity for people. Beyond that, the development will evolve into retail space, so where people can come and shop, and they can also have other areas that local people want to be a part of, right? The options are endless at this point in terms of who's going to utilize those spaces, but the development is there, and there's an opportunity there for people to come in. A part of that will be housing. So There'll be condos that are on sort of the second story of some of those long retail spaces. And that is going to be amazing because not only can that benefit local people who are looking for housing in the area, that's phenomenal. It can also be purchased by people who want to be in town but want a second residence as well. So next, there's plans for a potential market center where people can come and buy groceries. It can help local communities, similar to what's happening here in Lancaster, which is Lancaster's done a phenomenal job in that arena with the Keller Market Center. So not to say it's going to be to that caliber, but that type of thing. Potentially a restaurant, potentially a boutique hotel and spa is on the discussion block, but just lots of opportunity for job creation and local community use as well as tourism.
Well, that's awesome. And I think, especially for that area, obviously outside of Lancaster and Fairfield County, but there's probably folks in the community, maybe even the business community, who could even benefit from that down the road.
100%. It's going to be exciting.
So, Sarah, before we wrap up here, if there's anyone who's currently on the market or maybe looking to invest or take advantage of any of the services that Rock House offers, how can they reach out?
Absolutely. They can contact me on my cell, which is 614-747-2155 via email sclaypool@rockhouserealty.com.
Alrighty. Sarah, Nicole as well, thank you guys for joining the Business Spotlight podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You've been listening to the Business Spotlight podcast presented by the Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce.